Okay, here we go. So we say that there are paths in Torah that offer an immense insight into the Torah, to the point that you can basically understand the entire Torah. And we learned that the only way to achieve that is to possess an immense wealth. So we said that the wealth is a result of all the preemblems that you have to go through and learn when you are learning the Torah. And the Rebbe brought a muscle, to this Indian, some muscle, and it's the Sharash Indian, that the Torah is represented obviously by the Luchos, and the Luchos were chiseled from a stone. It's called sapirinon. I don't know if it's a diamond or sapphire or whatever it is and from the residue, the chips, the chaff that was chiseled off. Because Baruch Hu says, that the chaff, the leftovers, will be yours. And the Gemara says, Misham is Sasha Moshe. This is the source of the wealth of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Rebbe says the same way, whenever it is that you learn anything, you have to go through a great amount of uh, understanding the principles upon which what you're learning is predicated on. Wow. So, so now when you get to what it is that you want to learn, that particular issue that you want to study, the preemblems are no longer relevant. They're just tools, to be able to get to where you wanted to get. So that's the chaff. That's and those preparations for the preemblems of Torah that you learn, that's the source of the wealth. And the Rebbe says that the way to get that, safe base, to get that, the one of the main things that's important to mention, one of the important minyanim is that Rabbeinu says that the time to learn Kabbalah, that has been the future, which is supposedly seemingly a strange observation to make. The entire Likutey Moharan is full with secrets. The whole thing is just, a secret within a secret within a secret. How? But the principle is that the Likutey Moharan, the idea is not to learn Kabbalah. The idea is not to learn the Sifsei Torah. That would be in the future. All the Kabbalah that Rabbeinu brings down, like Rabbeinu brings down here, is the Rebbe shows us how what seems to be almost arbitrary mechanical functions in the supernatural, in the metaphysical realm. Rabbeinu brings it down, and when you see it, you realize that when Arizal wrote down a principle, let's say the creation of the world, in the creation of the world, so the Kodesh Baruch Hu has created within himself a vacant space, and within that vacant space, Kodesh Baruch Hu put his light in, and this is how the spheres became. And when Rabbeinu learns that, Rabbeinu takes this and says that that principle that Arizal has stated is the principle of Avodas Hashem, of every single person. First of all, your heart of a Jew needs to be vacated, like make a chalapani, like a vacated space that the Baruch Hu has created within himself. And within that space of a person's heart, a person has to think good thoughts. And these are all the worlds and all the spheres corresponding to what Arizal says, on a theoretical level. This is the thing that happens by every single person by himself. First of all, you have to vacate from your heart, the bad thoughts, because the bad thoughts, they fill up the heart, they verstopfen it. There's nothing can be built. And it's a big war. In fact, that is the biggest war there is. The war to push away, thoughts, licentious thoughts, and stuff that stuff up the heart. Rabbeinu says over there that the Yetzer Tov is good thoughts, and Yetzer Hara is the bad thoughts. And that battle is the thing that you have to, vacate your heart and then build the midas inside your heart. So Rabbeinu takes that principle that Arizal explained in Sefer Etz Chaim, and he applies it. This is how you should use the principles that Arizal explained to avoid Hashem. Baruch Hu created this vacated space within himself. You have to create this vacated space within your heart. You have to make sure you don't have bad thoughts in your heart. Very similar, Kodesh Baruch Hu created all the elements, with midas, and say you have to get good thoughts in your heart, and this is how you build your own midas. In other words, the Kabbalah is only used as a mashal for what it is that you need to do in your avodas Hashem. The main thing is avodas Hashem. It's not that principle of learning Seder Torah and Kabbalah with that. This is only going to be in the future. It's not for now.
He says to go through the whole Torah, no? Rabbi says to go through all the Torah.
Beseder Gamor. This is the Iker, leaving the Seder Torah is in the future. This is not to learn at all. It says the main learning of Seder Torah is La'ased Lavai. Right now, Rabbeinu uses the principles, the major principles of Kabbalah in many places, every Torah, Likutey Moharan. It's always in order to teach you how to use that principle to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How to, is l'maisa. The main thing is how to, put the pedal to the metal, put your nose to the grindstone, whatever it is that, you want to use. It says, it's like the main thing is to walk the walk, not to talk the talk. Okay, blah, 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 whatever. Anyhow. So here Rabbeinu explains this, how do you come to this wealth? We have learned it the last time, but we'll go over one more time because a long time passed since then. To come to this Ashirta through Tikunei Atik is by the rectification of that supernal persona. It's called Atik Yoimin. It's Prince Fias Akesef. And this represents Arichos Yomim, longevity. Chinas Zoket, because you need longevity in order to receive the assurance of the Isbeinus, of that insight. Okay, so what does it mean, longevity? We spoke about this. It says, what is true longevity? The Rebbe says, longevity means, arichas yomim means that you're supposed to lengthen your days. It's not that, you're talking about stop or, how many years that person have learned or have lived. That's not what longevity means. Longevity the Rabbeinu speaks about is an action. You start your day, you don't feel like doing anything as far as something like davening, something like this, something like that, whatever. And he says, and it's very, very difficult. So in the beginning, it's very narrow. This is kotzer yomim. This is short days. What you need to do is every hour that passes, you're supposed to lengthen it. You're supposed to become, make it wider, more yiras shamayim, more Torah, more kedushas. This is arichas yomim. That's the longevity that Rabbeinu is speaking about. Dahainu she'ira la'arich v'l'hagdil yomov. Yeah, a person is to lengthen and to build up his days. Every single day from the place where it starts by every person. Obviously in the beginning it's narrow. In the very beginning of the day, it's very difficult to do the avodah you need to do in that day. That's why the day in the beginning is narrow, it's short. And you have to begin little by little, widen it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Then a person becomes wider and bigger in avodas Hashem. It's a very important insight, because when a person is starting in the tefillah and or the limud of Torah or whatever it is that he needs to do, and there is a certain kind of I don't know, it's like an ADD or whatever it is there's a certain kind of heaviness and difficulty. Oh man, now to start doing this, so it feels like something. It's so easy, just like a slipping down an oily pole, like they have in the fire station in America. All the guys are spending the time on the second floor, and when there's an alarm, what they go is there's a pole in the middle, there's a hole in the floor, there's a pole. They go and they slide down the pole. The easiest thing is just like, oh man, I really don't feel like learning. I really don't feel like davening. I'm not. But you have to daven. You have to learn. Okay, so hey, let's do it as painlessly as possible. I go like and the Rebbe says that the way to deal with it is me'at, little by little. The whole davening. Oh man, the whole davening. We're just talking in the car, Simchas Torah. It's so long. It's like, by other Hasidus, there's a minig. Not Hasidus. There's a minig to drink alcohol. So my son, you drink to that. So my son was joking. He says the reason why they drink alcohol is because they find themselves so far from Torah. They want to drown their sorrow in some whiskey, like Andrew whiskey. He says, okay, right, so I'm far from Torah. But hey, I can dance. I can dance with everybody, whatever it is. It was a cute little thing that he said. But the main thing is that satisfying yourself with a little. He told Rav Nosson said that this vote by Rabbeinu has basically changed his life. He said he built mountains of Gemara pages with this Eitzah for Beinu. Reb Nosson spoke to the Rebbe about everything. He wrote everything to the Rebbe. He spoke to him about it, asked him about it. As I said on Sukkot, there was a time that Reb Nosson, obviously, was harder to find esrog, the Dalit meaning, hard to find esrogim in those days was very, very difficult. First to find something Mehudadik, it was very difficult. So Reb Nosson, so a Seichel, he gave Reb Nosson, the founder, an esrog to Reb Nosson, and he gave it to him, and Reb Nosson liked it, but he took it to the Rebbe, to ask him, what do you think about this esrog? The Rebbe looked at it and said, it's kosher. So the Rebbe went back to the Seicher. So the Seicher said, what the Rebbe said? The Rebbe said, it's kosher. So the Seicher says, okay, give me, 2, 3 rubles, but it's fine. Come, take it. And then he bought it, and he went to the Rebbe. The Rebbe says, show me your esrog. You just saw it. Show it to me. And then we looked at it. What an unbelievable esrog this is. You have no idea what kind of esrog it is. So the Rebbe said, but you said to me before, you just said, very, perfunctorily, it's kosher. He says, because I know you, because I would have told you what an incredible esrog it is, and you'd come to the Seicher will recognize he's a Seicher, he's a businessman. You would recognize immediately, that's it. And you would have sold your house to buy this esrog. I know you. I told him it was just kosher, fine, we said this. So you paid a fair price for it. He didn't rob you blind. So Reb Nosson asked the Rebbe everything. So Reb Nosson obviously had Sdorim, Sidrei Limud. How it's like all Anish have Sidrei Limud, and they used to have Sidrei Limud, especially, Elul. They will learn Likutey Moharan. They will learn the entire Likutey Tfilos. They will learn Tikkun Ezra. They will learn everything until Shana Rabbah. I mean, they will cram the whole thing. They were very misudadik, and Kamuvan, the symbol of it all is Ibn Nosson. Ibn Nosson is the one, with the Sdorim. Ibn Nosson was so exact. He had a special seder of what to learn and how to learn, specifically for Erev Pesach, that occurs on Erev Shabbos, when there's no time for anything. Ibn Nosson has specific seder limud for such a day. He would have his forum open, Shulchan Aruch was open, this was open, whatever it is, and it had something on it. And he would run, to take this and to do this. And in the meantime, he would take it off and look a little bit and cover it up and go do something else. So he was making all these dorim for himself to learn. And something or other would happen. Now the wife needs you. Now this is necessary. Now that is necessary. And so he came to the Rebbe and he told him everything. He told him his frustrations. He's trying to learn and to do, and it just doesn't work. So the Rebbe told him the famous sentence, "A bissel is oichet good. A little is also good." And Reb Nosson said that with this eitzah of a little bit is also good. He built mountains of Gemara, Dapei Gemara. You learn, so it doesn't. So they said it doesn't work, so it doesn't work. But you learn. A bissel is oichet good. The thing is that a person can get caught up with wanting to do everything, with accomplishing everything, with doing the whole thing, spitzdik and mehurdadik and everything, and then a little something happens, and it's like, like a balloon being punctured, and all the air goes, oh, all right, that's not what I had in mind. There's that. It was Shabbos, and I got angry. And it says if you get angry on Shabbos, the entire year's going to be there. Forget it. It's like you're a Holocaust survivor. Relax. A bissel zochet gut. A bissel zochet gut. They said, when Rav Nosson published Likutey Tfilas, I mean, this is like the most Ruach HaKodesh filled, tfilas anywhere. Anywhere. Rav Nosson says it's beyond Ruach HaKodesh. It's straight from the 50th gate of Kedusha, Likutey Tfilas. So when Anna saw that Likutey Tfilas, I mean, they went out of their minds, and it was unbelievable. So they said the story Maisi is the story from of Baal Tfilah, the master of prayer. So this is, you are the master of prayer. So it also says, no, I'm not. The Rebbe is the master of prayer. But if I am one of the people of the Melech, there were, all these different people of the Melech, I'm the Melech, I'm the advocate. He says, because I can be Melech Yosha in a person that is transgressed the entire Torah 800 times all over. The entire Torah 800 times means killing people too. He can be Melech Yosha. And he says, you can start all over again. A bissel is oichet gut. The Yetzirah comes to that person and says, you're lowering the standards, man. This is affirmative action. You're just, this is like, you're killing the whole thing. Okay, now let's go dancing. Oh, who needs to work hard? No. It's the other way around. The Yetzirah is the one who wants you to be, it's like have you ever seen those people that are never happy with the Kriyat Shema that they're saying? And they're gonna go, Shema. Shema. Yeah, it's like a basic is echt good. That a basic is echt good is that's the way that you enlarge your days with true longevity. That little bit I'm going to say, it is also good. So the Rebbe says me'at me'at, and he says every more and more and more every hour, more kedusha, add more to it, and then the day after also another one and another one and another one, and your days become widened and lengthened with additional kedusha. So that's why a person needs an immense amount of strengthening, of akshonis, of steadfastness, of resoluteness, to every single day, not to see this. It's so difficult for me. Avoid this. It's just like drives me out of my mind. But mechazik yourself to start every single day in that little, the eye of the needle that you have to start your day. The way to do it is slow down. Slow down. Nobody's asking you now to do the whole kedusha in one shot. Nobody's asking you to mechav the ganze shmones right now. Nobody's slow down. What's in front of you? You're going to say the words in front of you. Connect your mind to it. Let's say that thoughts that come into a person's mind, fantasies, all kinds of things that the Rebbe says, very, very grave things about that. If a person entertaining these kind of thoughts, Hashem Racham, the Rebbe says it creates actual realities in elements of this. But the thing is that when these thoughts come into a person, oh man, I'm your best friend. I'm your best friend. What if you get time to spend time with reality that you're going to be proven worthless again and again and again? You know how much easier things are in your own mind. You have no limitations. You can go wherever it is that you want and do it. It should be nothing. And you try to stop it, and it comes back. And you stop it, and it comes back. And you stop it, and it comes back. And you cry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, help me with this. And it still comes back. So you said, please help me with this. He comes. Then he goes away. Then he comes back again. And he comes back again. Patience. Patience. Call out to Kodesh Baruch Hu whenever you find it. Call, no, I don't want. This specific machshava, when I'm fantasizing A, B, C, D, E, this I don't want. Yeah, I don't want. But it comes again. So you start again. So you stop it again. But it comes again. So you stop it again. And you call out to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And you can come to even Yom Kippur. In the middle of Shmoneh Esrei. Yom Kippur, Ne'ilah. Yeah. You know, if people only knew what is in my mind during Yom Kippur and Ne'ilah, they will tar and feather me and they kick me out of town. Outside, you see, beard and payas, and look at this, gorgeous. If they only know. And the whole thing is, it's like ridiculous. No, this is Avodas Hashem. This is Avodas Hashem. 1,000 times, Rabbeinu Shalom take it away from it comes, you want to think it. Come on, be honest. You want to think it. You want to enjoy it. You come on. I don't want it. Or I want not to want it. Or I want to not to want it. I don't care how many. This is Avodas Hashem. This is widening and lengthening your days in Kedusha. You serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu non-stop. Rabbeinu says that if these thoughts come to a person, they don't come to me. I'm bringing on myself. Where did they don't come to me? Push them away. It doesn't matter. They come to you. You invited them. You sent an invitation. You didn't send an invitation. Whatever it is. Where it comes, you stop. I can't. I don't know what to do with myself. This is a little by little, another one, and another one, and another one. This is the Avodas Hashem. I think it used to be more of a medrash, or it's a medrash that says that it is better to serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu for 1 hour with Yetzer Hara than 1,000 years without Yetzer Hara. That seemingly pathetic episodes that I go through with all these machshavas, with all these on Levi, it's just machshavas. And I back it off, and I start, and I stop, and I start, and I stop. This is Avodas Hashem. This is Avodas Hashem. This is it. Whatever it is you get over. You call out to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And then, after you let it, Yitzhak comes with luck. He's the one that brought you to these thoughts to begin with. Now that I listen to him, that doesn't know. You see, you're worthless. You see, it's not for you. It's not for you. Come on. This is for serious people. This is for big people. It's not for you. Come on. Yeah, improve, Pon. Look at it. in the encyclopedia under the heading of the one who has horrible thoughts in his head, there's your picture. That means that the main ride of Kodesh Baruch Hu in this world is from me. Am Yisrael could not receive the Torah until Yisrael, who was the big kahuna for all the Avodah in the world before he came to Yiddishkeit. Yisrael, the Moshe's father-in-law. When he says, now I know that Hashem is greater than all other deities. The Zohar says that is when the name of Hashem was exalted in the higher realms and the lower realms. Why? Because he came from somebody who was the chief priest of all the Avodah in the world. Dalai Lama, Dalai Kacha, Dalai Pope, Dalai Chvasnishvas, Akal, he was everything. This is true longevity, through which you get this assurance, and with this kind of assurance that you get great insight into the Torah. And Avraham Avinu, that he was zocher to that kind of longevity. B'chinas arichas yomim. That's why Avraham Avinu was zocher, to become a tycoon. He was immensely rich. He says, "V'Avram zoken baba yomim," and Avram is old. Baba yomim, laden, or coming with days, laden with days. V'Hashem berech es Avram b'kol, and Hashem blessed Avram Avinu with everything. What the Torah alludes to here is through this bechina of oldness, as to Avdoken. This is longevity, is arichas yomim. This is Avraham Avinu was zeicha to call to, was zeicha to everything, to great wealth. Bivchinas mizkenim isboinon. This is what it said that mizkenim isboinon in Tehillim. It says basically what it means is that I look at the elders, and I look from them, and I can learn from them. I can learn how they got to where they got. But the remez here is that you have is boinus. From the union of zikno, the union of oldness, you are zeicher to his boina, to his boinus, to reflection, to insight. And the pchinas doken bal is boinus. Shehu, that is boinus, bal de ashiris. It comes to ashiris, which is being sucked into arichas yomim. Arichas yomim is that we have a very interesting concept that we learn in that the Rebbe's Yotzeit, we spoke about in Torah Ches. That the Rebbe said that a sigh and a groan of a Jew when he is sighing over his chesronos, when he's davening and he's like, "Oh, when will I come to that?" He says, "It's mamshich arichas yom arichas ruach." Which is Ruach Chaim from the Tzaddik Shebador. We went through this at great length about the union of, what comes through the Tzaddik was Dovek B'Torah. What we need is at the Arichas Yomim. It seems like it's acting like a pump. When a person sighs, what does he do? He doubles his thought, doubles his breath. Oh, usually you breathe faster than that. Hopefully, yeah, whatever it is, each one his own style, Or Gewalt, you're grooving along that, those lines, like that. And then you're pulling down Ruach Chaim. You're pulling down vitality. So through Arichas Yomim, by lengthening your days, enlarging your days every single day, more kedusha, more kedusha, more kedusha. You're sucking in this ashiras, this kind of wealth, and that wealth gives you zbaninus, gives you an insight. Very important to understand. There is a difference between the Arichas Yomim and Pashta Torah. Pashta Torah, then you get mamish ashiras, monetary ashiras. And there is the Arichas Yomim beruchnis, and so is a Torah. That you get Arichas Yomim that you cannot even see, in this world, but you lack nothing. Somehow, when you're young, you got to take care of this and you got to take care of that, and then you got to, the rent doesn't get paid, and this is that, and loans and debts and a this and a that, and all kind of the. Somehow, you get older, you have less income, but it's enough for everything, and there's no explaining. You never have money, and you always have money. The shiras. What's the shiras? Right? That's what Chazal say. What does it mean to be rich? That you're happy with your lot. You're happy with your lot. If you don't lack anything, what else do you need? You need a house. What's wrong with an apartment? I'm telling you what people think. Olam Hazadi. When they're missing, they're getting a bigger house. They're missing more, they're giving a bigger house. They're missing more, they're building a mansion. They're missing even more, they're buying. There was an author in America. He used to write westerns, short westerns. I forgot it was Nelson something or other. He used to write these, and he wrote them more and more. I mean, he sold immense amount of. And the thing is that he himself never touched, didn't even have a checkbook. Okay, his wife took care of all this, and they were so wealthy. They bought themselves, I think, in Arizona, a place, their own place, as big as a whole country. Okay, what are you going to do with it now? It wasn't a ranch. It was much more than a ranch. It's it's bigger than Denmark. I don't know, whatever it is, it's huge. What are you going to do with it? And it's there's a guy in Texas that says that, what?
Denmark is pretty big.
Well, I understand. So you can put entire Denmark into just. No. I mean, big. I mean, much big. There's a movie actor that is in Canada, and I don't know what in the wilderness. He has a place that's as big as a whole country. Not Luxembourg. Luxembourg is like a state. It's like a what?
In Texas.
Yeah.
Their ranch was bigger than some of the European countries.
Yes. Yeah. So you're saying there's a joke goes that it says, that my ranch is so big that, it takes me like 5 days to drive from one end to the other. And the other guy says, yeah, also I had such a jalopy. I was like, that's not wealth. That's not wealth. Kind of wealth that we get is when you widen your days b'kedusha. You come to Arichas Yomim. So we have already said that there is paths in Torah that you have immense introspection and hisbonenus and understanding, which is huge. And you can't come to this, you can acquire that kind of hisbonenus unless you're very, very wealthy. And to come to this wealth is by widening your days with more kedusha, additional kedusha, every single hour, every single day. This is arichas yamim. That's longevity. That's pchinas oldness. That is the stature into which the wealth, the ashiras, comes into, that you need in order to have this hisbonenus. The Rebbe will explain, what it is that, we'll continue next week to explain how you're zeicher to this arichas yamim. But the one thing that I wanted to sort of like focus on is that what does it mean, hisbonenus? That a reflection and an ability to see, an ability to encompass. Shvila Torah, the entire Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu, the entire Torah went through him. All the Nevi'im were all wealthy. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi that put together all the Mishnayos was very wealthy. Rav Ashi that put together the entire Talmud was extremely wealthy. All the people, all the Torah went through them. They were all extremely wealthy. The question is, how do you encompass the entire Torah? It was very funny that when Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, passed away, they had an obituary in the New York Times. Yeah, the Prince of Torah. And what did they say? That he knew every single word, every single issue, whatever, in the entire Torah. When you read it, it made it sound like Wikipedia. That Reb Chaim Kanievsky was like Wikipedia, or like AI. He knew the whole thing. Very nice, no? So, one of the yeshivas, this he asked Reb Chaim about avocado. So Reb Chaim asked him, "What is avocado?" So he says, "Then I knew that the entire Torah, Sifra, Mechilta, the whole thing, the word avocado is not mentioned even once, because otherwise you would know." But you don't understand what the big deal is. So what? What does it mean? What is the hisbonenus that Gdolei Israel have in the Torah that goes beyond the knowing of the details, which you can put into any computer? It starts with, in the Gemara. The Gemara, it says, Tashma, come and hear. Was it hear, Ken? Whatever the word is. Huh? Here. Tashma. Tashma is the level of Torah in which you know the details. You learn the details. You learn the sugya. You learn the basics. You add this to that principle to that principle. Different kind of codes, the codex from which you learn the psukim. We learn klal uprat to klal. When the Torah talks about something in general, then the Torah mentions one specific instance where this thing is working on, and then it mentions another word that talks about the cloud again. So the Torah has a codex that says any place where the Torah talks in general about an issue, it gives this particular example, and then it talks in general again. It means that in general, when you are learning about the general thing of this issue, you have to look for things that have the specifics that resemble that particular advice, the particular example that was given, so forth and so on. There's the 13 midos Shatur addresses by him. This is the level of learning Torah that it comes out of another detail and another detail and another detail and another detail. You have to go through the whole thing, every single sugya in the Shas, and all the Rishonim and all the Achronim and every. Yep, you have to just be full with the whole thing. Then you see the Zohar. The Zohar talks about a different level of learning Torah altogether. The Zohar says, Tachazi, come and see. The Gemara says, come and hear. The Zohar says, come and see. Come and see. Tachazi. Chazi. Lechazot, choizer. That's tachazi. I think I told you about this once before, that there was a commercial for Rolls-Royce. And what they said, they showed a picture of a whole city. And in a city, in a river, in a bridge, in the whole, and then it zoomed in, and it zoomed in, and zoomed in, and it zoomed in, and zoomed in until on the bridge, and zoomed in, there's a car, a Rolls-Royce, on the bridge, and zoomed into the window of the car until you looked at the headrest of inside the car, and it had the two R's, of the Rolls-Royce. They had it from the whole thing to a detail that's this big, from a whole city. The same thing happens, Rabbeinu says that, the whole same thing happens whenever you look at a picture. If you hypnotize a person, you passed in the street, whatever, you went, whatever, you can bring back the whole thing. Because a person sees everything, just doesn't remember. And because he doesn't pay attention to this thing. But tachazi means you're taking a picture of everything. If you have the ability to zoom in, you'll be able to zoom in on every single detail because you see the whole thing in one shot. In Torah Kabbalah, the whole thing is so inundated with endless details. Endless details. How can any person possibly cram the whole thing into his mind? The answer is you can't. In the method of Tashma, come and hear this and this and this and this and this, you can't contain the whole thing. But in a matter of Tachazi, in a matter of seeing the whole Torah, afterwards you all the details are already there. When you see a picture of a city, the entire city, all the millions of windows, everything is there. You are able to zoom into every single window, every single door, the whole thing, because you're capturing the whole scene in a totally different. A manner which is it's a quantum leap from hearing the details. You're grabbing the whole thing. You already have all the details there. Above that, there's another level, which Likutey Moharan keeps on saying, da. Know that so-and-so is the das already includes everything that even the re'ir, the tachazi, cannot contain. Whenever the Rebbe says da, this is a telegram from Olam Atzilus. which incorporates within itself the entire Torah Kula, in every single word. So we're getting a Shvila Torah. Shvila Torah means that you let go of lesser wealth in order to gain much higher wealth. You're letting go of much more, limited way of learning, going to a higher level of learning. So enachinami, Yigis Torah is shaykh to everybody. But when a person learns Torah, B'Yigiyah, and within the Yigiyah within the toil of the Torah, there's additional kedusha every single hour, every single day, the learning of the Torah is not just a congregation of details. New York Times, it's just like he knows every word. Thank you very much. He is Dovak B'Torah. He is Torah. He is Torah. There's a lot to talk about, but it's late. So, at Hashem, we will finish here, and we will continue Mitzvah Hashem next week. And yeah, the thing is that we will have to do it at 8 o'clock simply because the clock goes backwards, in a couple of weeks.
Maybe will be like 4 o'clock. So
What?
maybe it will be 4:30 instead of 5:30.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so, I mean, so it was said over here, maybe we can make the shear earlier. Let me just, we'll have to record this anyhow. I hope you had a good time. Okay, hold on.